Good morning, children. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Okay, so children, today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter 12, ratio and proportion. Ratio and proportion. Have you heard that words ratio?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Any idea?
Yes, ma'am. I have heard.
What's that? Okay, so children, today we'll learn what is ratio. Proportion we will learn later. Division, okay. So children, it's a comparison, okay. It's a comparison. How many times? It's a comparison because you have heard maybe your parents are comparing you with your brother, sister. Okay, how they are studying. Okay, so sometimes your friend is getting 20 marks out of maths. Out of 25 only I'm saying, okay, not from 50 and 100. So other person is getting only 10. So your parent may say, see, look at his mark. He got 20, you got only. So there is a comparison. So children, what do you mean by the term ratio? It's a comparison between the quantities and how many times. How many times. Okay, children, I will show how it can be denoted. So children,
Okay,
one minute. Okay, so children, here today we are going to learn the chapter 12, ratio and proportion. Ratio and proportion. No need to write anything now, just we will discuss. Okay, so children, what we said, we compare the two quantities in terms of how many times this quantity, and it is represented by the symbol. Children, here two dots, like, so this is ratio. The symbol for ratio, please check here, and how we can read that is 2. Is 2. Okay. So children, what we are going to do, denote ratio by using the symbol. There are two dots here. Can you see here? One on top and one here below. So this is known as is to. We can say this is, for example, children, I will compare 3:4. How will I write, children? The two quantities when I compare, if it is 3:4, that meaning is 3/4. So there is a comparison. So children, what do you mean by the term ratio? That is a comparison between the quantities in terms of how many times. How many times. See, suppose your class, there are 40 students. Total number of students is 40. Okay. And there are 20 boys and 20 girls. What's that? Total number of girls? 20. And the total number of boys, that is 20. So children, how will I write the ratio? Look here. Ratio of the girls. Someone is talking there?
20.
Now, look here, children. Ratio of girls to total number of girls to total number of students. Girls to total number of students. What is the total number I said, children? 40. Total, there are 40 children. And how many girls?
20.
20. So children, how we will write the ratio? Look here. 20 is the number of girls divided by 40. Okay. Now children, what you have to do? You have to write in the simplest form. Simplest form means you have to divide by the HCF, highest common factor. Both numerator and denominator, you have to divide by the highest common factor. See children, can you tell me here, by which number you can divide the highest common factor?
1 by 10 we can do.
Divide by 10?
Yes, ma'am.
That means you can cut then it is 2/4. Is there any common factors again?
Ma'am, 2.
You can divide by 2.
1 by 2.
1/2. See children, you have to write in the simplest form. This again, we cannot make it small. Like that, right? So what is that? 1 divided by 2. And how we will write that? 1:2.
1:2.
1:2. So what is here, children? We are comparing the number of girls to the total number of students in the class. Okay, children. So what is ratio? It is a comparison between the quantities, how many times. Okay, so which we are comparing the number of girls. So which number you have to write on the top? Girls. Down, we are comparing to which quantity? The total number of students in the class. So 20 divided by 40. So you have to divide by the highest common factor. Here you told me first you have to divide by 10. Again you divided. So first if you divide by the highest common factor 20. 20 divided by 20 you will get in one step 1. 40 divided by again 20 you will get 2. Okay. So children check again here. See, what is the total number of students? 40.
40.
Suppose if I give you the question, ratio of girls to boys, to the number of boys. Ratio of girls means ratio of number of girls to number of boys. What we will compare? Tell me.
20 by
Girls.
40.
20 by 20. 20 is to
20 divided by how many boys? 20.
20.
What will be the ratio, children?
Ma'am, 1 by 1.
Huh?
1 is to 1.
Ah, yes, 1. 20 divided by 20, 1. Again, here also 20 divided. So the ratio 1:1. 1:1. Okay. So always we have to write the ratio in the simplest form. Simplest form, how you can make? You have to divide by common factors, highest common factors, so that it will not be, again, we cannot reduce. Okay, here many videos are off. I told you in the beginning itself, please turn on all your camera.
Ma'am, I cannot my camera.
Good morning, children.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay, there was a network problem. Okay, so children, what we are learning now? Ratio. Ratio.
Proportion.
What is ratio?
Ma'am, ratio is the comparison between two quantities.
Comparison between the quantities. Comparison means how many times. Okay,
many?
suppose your height is like 4 feet and your father is 6 feet height. So you are comparing with your height with your father. So you will say your means your height should be written first. 4:6. Can we divide that again?
Yes, ma'am. 2.
2:3. When you divide again, it is 2:3. So that is the comparison between your height and your father's height. And how we will denote that? Is two dots. Yes.
Ma'am, 2 dots.
So how we will read that? 3:4. 1:2. And children, remember, we can compare only the same quantities, same units. Okay, one is in liter. That means juice. Can we measure in kilogram other unit? No. If you are comparing, the two quantities should be in the same units. If you are comparing the liter, the second quantity also should be in liter.
Okay,
If you are comparing centimeter, the second quantity should be also the same centimeter. We cannot compare centimeter and meter.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you tell to Adilashmi send the notes because my phone is storage full.
What did she say?
Ma'am, you
Ma'am,
told
she is
send the
saying
notes,
to
right?
can you tell
Okay, did you hear, children? What she said? And do.
Ma'am, she is telling that can you ask Lakshmi to send the note?
That's what. She conveyed anyway the message to the other person. Yes. When you are hearing, the other person also, please do it first. Okay, now children, please take out your notes. We are going to write what we have learned. We learned what is ratio, how we can denote, and what are the things we will. Okay, please take the notes and write without any mistake neatly. Okay, anyway, after 1 week you are coming to school. We will check all your notes. So children, here, chapter 12, ratio and proportion. Ratio and proportion. ratio. We compare the two quantities. We compare the two quantities. We compare the two quantities in terms of how many times? How many times? How many times? This comparison is known as comparison ratio. We denote the ratio using simple we denote the ratio using a simple like this in your punctuation mark and all you have seen that up like a semicolon and here two dots, okay, two dots, simple,
Okay,
read
ma'am.
as is to. Is to. Is to. So children, we compare the two quantities in terms of how many times. How many times? This comparison is known as ratio. And how we can denote? We can denote this using two here, the dots here. And how we can read that?
Is to.
It can be read as is to.
Is to.
Okay.
Ma'am, this symbol is called colon.
Hmm?
The symbol is called colon.
Ah, okay. Finish writing?
No, ma'am.
1 minute.
No, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So children, below that you can write one note. Note.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Two quantities can be compared only if they are in the same unit. Two quantities can be compared only if they are in the same unit.
I'm completed.
Same. Okay. In the same unit. We compare the two quantities in terms of how many times. This comparison is known as ratio, and we can denote this by like the simple colon, and it can be read as is to. Two quantities can be compared only if they are in the
Same unit.
unit.
Finish, ma'am.
Okay, children, completed?
Yes, ma'am. Completed. No, ma'am. No.
Do it fast.
Finish, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Finish, ma'am.
Okay, next one. We will write one example.
Ma'am didn't finish. Okay, ma'am. Finish, ma'am.
Length and breadth of children, please write fast. We can do more question. Length
ma'am.
and breadth. Length and breadth of a rectangular field. Rectangular field are 50 meter and 15 meter respectively. Respectively. Find the ratio of the length find the ratio of the length of the find the ratio of the length of this rectangular field to the breadth of the field. Find the ratio of the length to the breadth of the field.
I am completed.
So children, this is the question. What we had to find out? We had to find out the ratio. So length and breadth. So what is the length here, children? Length is given by 50 meter
50 meter.
and breadth is given by 15 meter. See, this respectively means we cannot change the order. 50 meter, that is the length, and 50 meter, that is breadth. That's why it is respectively. Find the ratio of the length to the breadth. Length to the breadth. First, what we have to write?
15. 15 is to 50.
So,
Length of a
by 15. Yes? Okay, so let's write with steps. Okay, here, answer. First, we can write here length. You can write length of the rectangular field. So what is given? That we are writing. First, what is given? Length is given, breadth also given. Length of the rectangular field equals 50 meter. Next, what we will write?
Because of rectangle.
Breadth of the rectangular field. Breadth. It is given by 15 meter. 15 meter. Next, we had to write a ratio. The ratio of the length to the breadth. What is we are writing first? That we have to write first. Here we are writing length. So length versus breadth. So we have to write here. Look at the sentence. How you will get? Find the ratio of the length to the breadth. You will get the step from the question itself. So what is given first? Length is given, breadth is given. That we have written. Then what we have to find? Look at the question again. Ratio of the length to the breadth. Write that ratio. We can write the ratio.
Of the length to the breadth.
The ratio of the length. Ratio of the length to the breadth.
Completed.
Length to the breadth.
And 15 is to 50 is to 15.
Ah, 1 minute. Let me move this little bit. Okay, so children, length to the breadth. So we will write first length. 50 is to 15. Okay, 50 is to 15. That means what's that? We have to do 50 divided by 15. And which is the common factor that you can divide with both the numerator and denominator? Ah?
Five.
So when you divide 50 divided by 5, what will you get? 50 divided by 5.
Ma'am, 10.
10, yes. 10 into 5, 50. So it is, okay, 10 divided by. 15 also you have to divide by
Hello,
the same
ma'am.
number 5. What is that?
3.
3. Yes. 10 by 3. So how will write children?
10 is to
10
3.
to
Ma'am,
3.
can you hear me?
Yes. 10 is to 3. Only this much. See children, we will write the number, but the order you have to remember. See here, length to breadth. If you are asking breadth to length, what do you have to do children? The opposite. 15 is to 50. That means 15 divided by 50. If you are doing the opposite order, that is breadth to length. But here they are asking length to breadth. Then what do you have to do? You have to make into simplest form. Yes, simplest form means divide by the highest common factor. So what's the answer here? 10 is to 3.
10 is to 3.
So children over?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Finished, ma'am.
So is there any doubt in ratio what we learned today?
No, ma'am. No doubt.
Just we have to write the what is given in order, the same order. We cannot change the order. Then you have to write in the simplest form. Yes?
Ma'am, it is so simple ratio.
Simple. Okay. So I'm going to take your attendance. Okay.
Hello? Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, last.
Okay.
Board, please.
Ma'am, in every teachers will be taking from school.
1 minute. Let me stop.